So for this unit's project, it's going to be a fun one. We're going to create our own animated game level. When you go to the Moodle page, one of the folders that you can download is going to be your game parts folder. And within this folder, there's different little PNG files of different game assets we'll use to build out all of the levels. And what I'm asking you to do is to create at least 3 complex game levels. And we'll kind of talk about what I mean by complex when we start building out the level. So I'm going to jump into Animate. We want to make sure to choose ActionScript 3 as our file type, simply because ActionScript 3 will allow you to have scenes within your animated file. If you choose HTML5 or WebGL, then they can't handle scenes and you'll have to actually save different files. So choosing ActionScript 3, in our Properties panel, we'll set the width of it to be 1080 and the height of it to be 720. 1080 by 720 is one of those common file types that's used for video and online stuff, but it works well for this video game as well. Next, we'll open up our Library panel, then go to File, Import, and we're going to import all of these assets to the library and not to the stage. I've located my Game Parts folder. We'll select everything within that folder, choose Open, and you can see they're now inside of our library file. The first thing we need to do is in our timeline, we'll change layer 1 to our background layer. And let's choose one of these 3 backgrounds. I'm giving you 3 different color options, blue, red, or green. I like the blue one, so I'm going to drag background 1 onto my stage and place it right there within this one. We'll lock down layer 1, create a new layer, and layer 2, we're going to call this Game Layout. Within the game layout, this is where you can use the different parts to build up your different level design. And I'm giving you some different things in order to do this. First off, there's different kinds of walls. So here's a brick wall, and here is a bridge. I'm also giving you some coins and a little heart, which is your goal. Some land masses like a floating land, and here's a large rock or a large piece of land. Here's a large rock. And here's some small land and a small rock, and finally some water. And repeating these aspects or assets over and over again will allow you to develop out the level that you want to have. The goal of it is to take your little character, and I'm calling him a Bean character or Mr. Bean, and have him move from one area of your stage to another area in order to retrieve this heart. And along the way, he has to jump over or move around these different obstacles that you're going to put in the way. Now, there is no set time limit for this animation. You can make it as complex as you want, but I don't want it to be a simple little level where he's like jumping over one little landmass or one little wall. Make it something where he has to figure out how to move around this world to get to this different area. Think about different levels he can jump onto, things that he can move into. If you want to create your own little video game aspects and add on to this, I'll certainly allow you to do that as well. So I'm going to pause it or fast forward through it and watch you make my level and give you some ideas of how you can lay out your level. I'll start off with just one of them. Let's get rid of all of these. All right, and so now you see I've got my simple little layout for my game that I have. I'm going to start him down here at the very bottom left-hand corner, and he's going to jump up and then move along and across the bridge and jump up onto these different land bridges, and finally up through here, back over until he finally reaches the heart that's over here. And along the way, I may need to make a few little simple tweaks and adjustments just to make sure he can actually work through here. But on the final layer, I'm going to lock down my game layout, and this is where I'm actually going to have my player be within this layer. And I'll choose one of my little green men, or my bean men. He could be green, orange, or pink. I kind of like the orange one, so we'll place him inside of here, and I'm going to let this be his starting position. Now I'll go to File and save this up. I'll do his game animation. We'll put it to the desktop. And I want to use the principles that I created to animate him jumping along the path as he moves from one edge all the way up to the top. And if I need to, I can zoom in order to do this appropriately. But he doesn't just need to slide along and move up and down, but I actually want him to pretend like he's jumping. And even when he reaches the different levels, maybe the parts will disappear, the assets will disappear as he collects them. So let's go through, and you're going to watch me animate mine as he jumps, easing in and out as he jumps up, but also adding some squash and stretch as necessary for each one of these. So here we go. Now I find it a little bit easier to turn off my snapping. So I'm going to go to View, down to Snapping, and turn off Snap Align. And you can also turn off all of the others like snapping objects and bitmaps to pixels. Sometimes that comes in handy, but in this case it's actually going to get in my way. Alright, now that I've done that, let's play it through and see what it looks like. See, it starts off going pretty quick. He bounces along. Here I had to slow it down a bit. And I can see a few places where it does get choppy, but you get the general outline of what he had to do, going back and forth. And the last thing I'm going to go through is every time he hits a coin, I'm going to let that coin disappear. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. I'm just going to scrub through. And so finally right here is where that coin will disappear. So I'll unlock this layer, select this one, we'll add a keyframe in on our game layer. Since this is going to have a change, we'll select this little guy, delete him away. And so now we'll scrub through. When he reaches this frame, let this coin also disappear. Scrub through. And now when we play through, you can see all the coins are being collected because simply they disappear whenever it reaches that frame that he's touching. So kind of understanding the concepts of inserting a keyframe and a blank frame and what they do allows you to create these different kinds of animations. All right, when you're done with this, now this is scene one, so this is one scene that I've created. We can open up our scene panel. We can call this level 1 if we want. Then create a new scene and repeat the process for that one. I'm looking for 3 levels at least, good complex levels. You can see on this one it's complex because he's having to jump over multiple things. It's not a simple, straightforward going from one edge to the other. He's actually got to navigate around to get some stuff. That's what I'm looking for your scenes and your levels. And I'm eager to see what you guys will create for this particular project. If you have any problems or questions, again, go to the Moodle page. We've got a forum opened up where you can post your questions from there. All right.